Life operates on a system of exchange. Every action, every decision, and every pursuit comes at a cost. Whether it is time, effort, energy, or sacrifice, nothing in this world is truly free. People understand this fundamental truth, take control of their destiny, while those who fail to grasp it remain trapped in circumstances they never consciously chose. The reality is that life does not give without taking, and those who expect rewards without offering something in return are bound to be disappointed. Success in any form demands a price. Those who build empires, amass wealth, or achieve greatness did not stumble into it by accident. They paid for it with years of discipline, hard work, and resilience. Many people see only the outcome, the luxury, the respect, the influence, but they fail to acknowledge the relentless struggle behind it. They do not see the late nights, the missed celebrations, or the countless failures endured before victory was secured. To get something valuable, one must be willing to exchange something of equal or greater worth. This is the law of reality. The same principle applies to respect. It is not freely given but earned through consistent action. The world does not respect weakness, passivity, or entitlement. It respects strength, confidence, and competence. Those who demand respect without proving themselves will always be ignored. The most powerful people in history did not sit back and hope for others to recognize their worth. They imposed it through undeniable results. They understood that respect is transactional. One must deliver value, demonstrate authority, and project unwavering self-belief to command it. Freedom, another highly desired asset, is also not granted without a cost. True freedom requires control over finances, emotions, and decisions. Those who live paycheck to paycheck, controlled by debt and obligations, are not free. They have sold their time for money, often at a rate that keeps them barely surviving. On the other hand, those who take control of their income, who build businesses or master skills that generate wealth, buy their freedom with effort and strategic thinking. They understand that freedom is not a right, but a privilege earned through discipline and sacrifice. People often fail because they chase comfort rather than transaction. They seek shortcuts, believing they can get something for nothing. They hope for success without struggle, respect without proving themselves, and wealth without work. But reality does not operate on wishful thinking. It operates on the principle of trade. If one wants an extraordinary life, they must be willing to give up the ordinary. If one desires power, they must sacrifice weakness. If one wants independence, they must relinquish dependence. This transactional nature of life applies even to relationships, whether personal or professional. Every connection is based on value exchange. A person who offers nothing, no support, no ambition, no inspiration, will be discarded sooner or later. In friendships, people stay close to those who uplift, challenge, and empower them. In business, clients only pay for services that solve problems or enhance their lives. Even in love, attraction is not based on random luck. It is earned through traits like confidence, security, and emotional stability. Those who fail to bring value to others will find themselves overlooked and forgotten. The key to winning in life is to understand and master this concept. Instead of asking what can be gained, one must first ask what can be given. Instead of expecting rewards, one must first prove deserving of them. Success is not an accident, it is a transaction. The most powerful individuals do not sit around hoping for opportunities. They create them by providing undeniable value. They are not passive observers of life, but active participants who control the terms of their own existence. Those who refuse to acknowledge this truth will always find themselves at the mercy of those who do. They will be exploited by the strong, manipulated by the clever, and outpaced by the ambitious. But those who embrace the transactional nature of life gain the ability to shape their own future. They recognize that every interaction, every opportunity, and every success comes with a cost, and they are willing to pay that price without hesitation. Because in the end, life does not reward those who wish, it rewards those who trade. Circumstances are irrelevant to those who have the right mindset. The world does not care about excuses, setbacks, or hardships. It only responds to strength, discipline, and unbreakable will. Those who succeed in life do so not because they were handed favorable conditions, but because they refuse to let unfavorable ones define them. Weakness, self-pity, and hesitation do not change reality. Only action, resilience, and an unshakable belief in one's ability to overcome challenges can reshape the course of a person's life. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that their situation is what holds them back. They blame their upbringing, their financial status, their lack of connections, or even bad luck. But there are countless stories of individuals who came from nothing, faced extreme adversity, and still reached greatness. Why? Because they understood that mindset is everything. The difference between the person who rises and the person who remains stagnant is not the challenges they face, but how they respond to them. One sees obstacles as reasons to quit. The other sees them as opportunities to prove themselves. Strength is not something people are born with, it is built. It is forged in the fire of struggle and resistance. Those who refuse to push themselves will remain weak, not because they lack the ability to be strong, but because they lack the willingness to endure hardship. Life does not grant success to those who avoid difficulty. It rewards those who confront it head-on and refuse to back down no matter how tough the battle. Discipline is the weapon that allows people to persist when motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes based on feelings. But discipline is what makes a person act even when they do not feel like it. The world belongs to those who can control their impulses, push through discomfort, and stay committed long after others have given up. People often look at those who have achieved greatness and assume they had something special, some advantage that made things easier. But in reality, the difference lies in their mindset. They train themselves to see every failure as a lesson, every hardship as a test, and every setback as a setup for a greater comeback. They did not allow emotions to dictate their decisions. They did not complain about how unfair life was. They simply put in the work, adapted to their circumstances, and kept moving forward. The world does not stop for those who struggle. It does not pause to offer sympathy or wait for anyone to catch up. It keeps moving, and only those who have the mental toughness to endure, adapt, and push forward will thrive. Those who waste time making excuses or waiting for the perfect moment will always be left behind. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. There is only now, and what a person chooses to do with it determines their future. Unbreakable willpower is the foundation of all success. It is the ability to stand firm in the face of opposition, to keep going even when everything seems hopeless. Those who lack it crumble under pressure. They fold when things get hard, but those who cultivate an iron will become unstoppable. They do not rely on external motivation, nor do they need reassurance from others. They move forward with certainty, knowing that the only thing standing between them and their goals is the decision to keep going no matter what. The world is indifferent to struggle. It does not reward effort, it rewards results. It does not care about intentions, it cares about execution. People who fail to grasp this reality remain stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, waiting for something outside themselves to change. But those who understand the power of mindset take full responsibility for their lives. They refuse to be victims of circumstance. Instead, they become masters of their own fate. It does not matter where a person starts. It does not matter how many times they have failed. What matters is their mindset, their ability to stay focused, disciplined, and relentless. The world belongs to those who refuse to surrender, who understand that success is not given but earned through sheer will and unwavering determination. The moment a person stops making excuses and starts taking action, they separate themselves from the weak and step into the realm of the strong. Because in the end, it is not circumstance that defines a person, it is their mindset. Value is the ultimate currency in life. Those who possess it are rewarded with success, wealth, respect, and influence, while those who lack it struggle to be noticed. The world does not operate on fairness, kindness, or luck. It operates on value. People who understand this principle take control of their future by continuously improving themselves, while those who ignore it remain stagnant, wondering why they are overlooked. Every person is judged, whether they realize it or not, by what they bring to the table. Society does not reward effort, it rewards results. It does not compensate people for simply existing, it compensates them for what they can offer. The more valuable a person becomes, the more opportunities open for them. This is true in every aspect of life. Employers do not hire people because they feel sorry for them. They hire those who have the skills to solve problems. Customers do not pay for products out of generosity. They pay because those products provide value. Even in relationships, people are drawn to those who bring something meaningful, whether it be emotional strength, intelligence, ambition, or support. The law of value governs all human interactions. Skills are the foundation of value. Those who dedicate time to learning and mastering a craft make themselves indispensable. In any field, the most skilled individuals are the ones who rise to the top, earning higher incomes and greater recognition. While many waste time complaining about unfairness, others are sharpening their abilities, ensuring they cannot be ignored. The person who constantly expands their knowledge and hones their talents will always have an advantage over those who rely on luck or entitlement. Knowledge is another critical factor that determines a person's worth. Information is power, and those who possess it can navigate life with precision. The most influential figures in history were not those who waited for guidance, but those who sought knowledge relentlessly. They understood that ignorance is a weakness and that the more they learned, the more control they had over their lives. Those who invest in education, whether through books, mentors, or experience, equip themselves with the tools necessary to thrive in any situation. Influence is the highest form of value because it multiplies everything else. A person who has influence can open doors that would otherwise remain closed. Influence allows individuals to shape opinions, lead movements, and command attention. But influence is not given, it is earned. It is built by consistently providing value to others, by being a source of wisdom, inspiration, or solutions. Those who influence do not beg for attention. They attract it naturally because people recognize their worth. People often wonder why they are not getting the results they desire. They believe they are working hard, but they fail to realize that effort without value is meaningless. Just because someone is busy does not mean they are productive. True progress comes from increasing one's value, not simply working longer hours. A person who develops rare and powerful skills can achieve more in 1 hour than someone without skills can achieve in a week. This is why focusing on becoming valuable is the fastest way to change one's life. Many people complain about being underpaid, overlooked, or ignored, but they rarely ask themselves if they are offering anything significant. A person who becomes exceptional at what they do never has to chase opportunities. Opportunities chase them. When someone possesses skills that others need, they gain leverage. They are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances because they have something that makes them irreplaceable. This is the key to financial independence, career success, and social status. The truth is, people are rewarded based on what they contribute. The world does not hand out prizes for potential. It rewards those who turn that potential into real, measurable value. This is why self-improvement is not an option, but a necessity. Those who invest in themselves, who seek mastery, who increase their knowledge and expand their influence, position themselves for success. Those who ignore this reality, expecting life to treat them fairly despite offering nothing of substance, will always struggle. Everything a person wants, money, respect, opportunities, freedom, comes down to one thing: value. The more valuable a person becomes, the more the world rewards them. The less valuable they are, the easier they are to replace, ignore, or discard. This is the simple but unbreakable rule of life. Those who embrace it, who dedicate themselves to constant growth, who focus on becoming undeniable in their field, will always rise above the rest. Because at the end of the day, people are not paid for their time. They are paid for the value they bring to that time. Most people go through life without ever realizing they are trapped. From the moment they are born, they are placed into a system that conditions them to think, behave, and live in a way that benefits others more than it benefits themselves. They are told what success looks like, what rules to follow, and what path to take. They are taught to obey, not to think. They are trained to work for someone else, not to create their own destiny. This is the greatest illusion of society, the belief that the system exists to help people when, in reality, it exists to control them. People are led to believe that if they follow the traditional path, they will be rewarded. They are told to go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, and work hard until they retire. But what happens to most people who follow this formula? They end up overworked, underpaid, and barely surviving, trapped in a cycle of bills, debt, and obligations. The system does not reward hard work. It rewards those who understand how to play the game. Those who conform to the rules are kept in place, while those who break free and create their own path rise to the top. The truth is, society does not want people to be powerful. It does not want people to think independently, to question authority, or to build their own wealth. It wants them to be obedient, distracted, and dependent. That is why the education system does not teach financial literacy, critical thinking, or self-reliance. Instead, it teaches compliance. It prepares people to be employees, not leaders. It conditions them to accept a life of mediocrity, where they work just hard enough to survive, but never hard enough to escape. Media and entertainment serve the same purpose. People are bombarded with distractions, mindless entertainment, addictive technology, and endless consumption, so they never stop to question the system they are trapped in. They spend hours watching others live exciting lives instead of building one for themselves. They waste their potential chasing meaningless pleasures instead of developing skills and acquiring knowledge. The more distracted they are, the less likely they are to realize they are being controlled. Even the financial system is designed to keep people weak. The average person is encouraged to take on debt early in life. Student loans, car loans, credit cards, all under the illusion that this is normal. But debt is a form of slavery. It keeps people chained to their jobs, forcing them to trade their time and freedom just to keep up with payments. The wealthiest people do not work for money, they make money work for them. They invest, build businesses, and create assets that generate wealth. Meanwhile, the average person is stuck in a cycle of earning and spending, never getting ahead because they do not understand the rules of the game. Breaking free from this illusion requires a complete shift in perspective. It requires rejecting the belief that life should be lived according to society's expectations. It means questioning everything that has been taught and seeking real knowledge, the kind that leads to power and independence. This does not mean rebelling for the sake of rebellion. It means understanding how the system works and using it to one's advantage instead of being controlled by it. The first step is to stop seeking permission. Most people wait for approval before taking action. They wait for someone to tell them they are ready, that they are allowed to succeed, that they deserve more. But the world does not grant permission to those who wait. It rewards those who take control of their own destiny. The most successful people in the world did not follow the traditional path. They did not ask for permission to be great. They created their own opportunities, built their own wealth, and shaped their own future. The second step is to become self-sufficient. The more independent a person is, the less control society has over them. This means building skills that are valuable, creating multiple streams of income, and refusing to rely on a single source of security. It means developing a mindset of resilience where setbacks are seen as lessons, not failures. It means prioritizing self-education over formal education because the most important lessons in life are not taught in school. Finally, breaking free requires taking responsibility. Most people look for someone to blame: the government, the economy, their upbringing. But this is just another trap. The moment a person stops blaming external factors and starts taking ownership of their life, they become unstoppable. They stop making excuses and start making progress. They realize that success is not about luck or fairness. It is about strategy, discipline, and execution. The system is designed to keep people weak, but only those who accept this reality remain trapped. Those who recognize the illusion and refuse to conform have the power to escape it. They understand that life is not about following the rules set by others. It is about creating their own. They refuse to be controlled, manipulated, or limited. They take charge of their fate, build their own path, and ultimately rise above the masses who never saw the cage they were in. Success is not given, it is earned. It is built on relentless effort, discipline, and an unshakable commitment to pushing beyond what is comfortable. Most people want success, but very few are willing to sacrifice for it. They dream of wealth, power, and freedom, yet they cling to comfort as if it were their greatest asset rather than their greatest enemy. The reality is that comfort breeds mediocrity. It keeps people stagnant, prevents them from taking risks, and ultimately robs them of the potential they were meant to achieve. Every person who has ever reached the top of their field has one thing in common: an obsession with progress. They did not simply work when they felt like it or when it was convenient. They worked when they were tired, when they were in pain, when the odds were against them. They made sacrifices that most people would never consider. While others were sleeping, they were grinding. While others were relaxing, they were perfecting their craft. While others were making excuses, they were executing. Sacrifice is the price of success. There is no escaping it. Every great achievement requires giving something up: time, comfort, relationships, or even peace of mind. The person who wants to be a champion must be willing to sacrifice the ease of an ordinary life. The entrepreneur who wants to build an empire must be willing to sacrifice short-term pleasures for long-term gains. The artist who wants to create a masterpiece must be willing to sacrifice distraction and focus entirely on their work. The world does not hand out rewards to those who refuse to sacrifice. Most people never reach their full potential because they are not willing to endure discomfort. They give up when things get hard. They quit when success does not come as quickly as they expected. They tell themselves that they will try again later, that they will start tomorrow, that they just need a little more motivation. But success does not wait. It does not pause for those who hesitate. It belongs to those who keep moving forward no matter how difficult the journey becomes. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple resilience. Anyone can start something. Anyone can have a good idea, set a goal, or get excited about a new opportunity. But only a few have the mental toughness to see it through to the end. The process is painful. It will break weak people. It will test even the strongest individuals. There will be moments of doubt, moments where everything seems impossible, moments where quitting feels like the only option. But those who push past these moments are the ones who win. Hard work alone is not enough. Plenty of people work hard their entire lives and never achieve anything significant. Hustle without strategy is wasted effort. Sacrifice without direction is meaningless suffering. The key is to work hard on the right things, to make sacrifices that lead to real progress. It means eliminating distractions, cutting out toxic influences, and dedicating every possible moment to improvement. It means being brutally honest with oneself, acknowledging weaknesses, fixing mistakes, and refusing to settle for anything less than excellence. The people who dominate their fields understand that the grind never stops. They do not take long breaks. They do not look for shortcuts. They do not waste time complaining about how difficult the journey is. They embrace the struggle. They thrive in discomfort. They understand that greatness is not found in easy, predictable routines, but in the relentless pursuit of something greater than themselves. The truth is, most people are not willing to do what it takes. They love the idea of success, but they do not love the process. They do not love the early mornings, the late nights, the failure, the loneliness, or the sacrifices required to reach the top. They want the rewards without paying the price. But life does not work that way. Those who are willing to suffer for their dreams, to embrace the grind, to sacrifice comfort in pursuit of greatness, those are the ones who succeed. Success is not about luck. It is not about talent. It is about work. It is about sacrifice. It is about an unbreakable commitment to never settle, never slow down, and never stop chasing what others are too weak to pursue. The only question is, are you willing to pay the price? Emotions are powerful. They can push people to achieve greatness, or they can destroy everything they have worked for in a single moment. The ability to control emotions is what separates those who lead from those who follow, those who win from those who lose. The world is full of people who are ruled by their feelings, people who make impulsive decisions, who react instead of respond, who allow their emotions to dictate their actions. These people are easily manipulated, easily distracted, and ultimately easily defeated. On the other hand, those who master their emotions hold the key to true power. They remain calm under pressure, they think before they act, and they never allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent outcomes. One of the greatest weaknesses in people is emotional instability. They get angry and say things they regret. They feel sad and lose motivation. They get discouraged and quit. They let fear stop them from taking risks. Instead of controlling their emotions control them. This is why most people never achieve their full potential. They let fleeting feelings sabotage their long-term goals. Those who want to succeed must understand that emotions are not meant to be obeyed. They are meant to be controlled. Anger is one of the most dangerous emotions because it clouds judgment. A person who cannot control their anger is a person who can be easily provoked. They react without thinking, making choices that often lead to regret. The strongest individuals are not those who lash out in rage, but those who can remain composed even when everything around them is chaotic. They do not allow others to pull them into emotional battles. They understand that reacting in anger is a sign of weakness, while remaining calm under pressure is a sign of true strength. Fear is another emotion that destroys potential. It keeps people from taking action, from stepping outside of their comfort zone, from pursuing what they truly want. Most people live their entire lives making decisions based on fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But fear is an illusion. It only has power over those who allow it to. Those who succeed understand that fear is a natural response, but they do not let it stop them. They move forward despite fear, and in doing so, they prove that fear is nothing but an obstacle to be crushed. Sadness and discouragement are emotions that break the weak. Life is full of setbacks, disappointments, and failures. Most people allow these experiences to defeat them. They become consumed by self-pity, believing that the world is against them. But those who are in control of their emotions refuse to let sadness control their actions. They understand that emotions come and go, but discipline is permanent. They do not let a bad day turn to a bad week, a bad month, or a bad life. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, process them, and then continue moving forward. Discipline is the weapon against emotional weakness. It is what allows a person to act based on logic and strategy rather than feelings. Those who rely on motivation will always fail because motivation is inconsistent. Some days it is there, other days it is gone. But discipline remains. A disciplined person wakes up early even when they do not feel like it. They train when they are tired. They work when they are uninspired. They execute their plan no matter what emotions they are feeling at the moment. This is the mindset of the powerful. Emotional control also gives a person the ability to manipulate situations to their advantage. A person who cannot be rattled, who cannot be provoked, who does not react impulsively, is a person who holds power in every interaction. People who master their emotions can remain calm in negotiations, composed in conflicts, and logical in decision-making. They are not swayed by emotional arguments, and they cannot be pressured into making mistakes. This is why emotional control is one of the most important skills for those who seek power and success. The reality is that emotions are temporary, but actions have permanent consequences. A person who understands this does not allow momentary feelings to destroy everything they have built. They do not allow one bad moment to define their entire future. They recognize that every decision must be made with a clear mind, free from the influence of uncontrolled emotions. This level of self-mastery is rare, but it is what separates the strong from the weak. The world belongs to those who can control themselves. Those who allow their emotions to dictate their actions will always be at the mercy of the world around them. They will be manipulated by those who understand how to use emotions against them. But those who master their emotions will always be in control of themselves, of situations, and ultimately of their destiny. True power is not about physical strength or intelligence alone. It is about mastering the one thing that so many people fail to control: emotions. Money is not just paper or numbers on a screen. It is the key to freedom. Those who understand wealth do not see it as mere currency, but as a tool that allows them to live life on their own terms. The reality is that money controls almost every aspect of life, whether people acknowledge it or not. It determines where they live, the quality of healthcare they receive, the opportunities available to their children, and even how much power they hold in society. Yet, most people do not truly understand money. They spend their entire lives working for it without ever learning how to make it work for them. This is the fundamental difference between the wealthy and the rest of the world. The wealthy do not chase money, they attract it, control it, and multiply it. The first truth about wealth is that it is created, not inherited or stumbled upon by luck. While some may be born into riches, the vast majority of millionaires and billionaires built their wealth from nothing. They did not wait for opportunities to come to them. They created them. They understood that money flows to those who solve problems, provide value, and think strategically. Most people spend their entire lives working for someone else, exchanging their time for a paycheck, never realizing that time is their most valuable asset. The wealthy, on the other hand, focus on creating systems and investments that generate income for them, even when they are not actively working. This is why the rich get richer, because they understand how to make money work for them instead of working for money. Another crucial reality about wealth is that it must be multiplied. Earning money is only the first step. Knowing how to grow it is what separates the financially free from those who are forever stuck in survival mode. The average person earns money and immediately spends it on liabilities, cars, gadgets, entertainment, things that lose value over time. The wealthy take their earnings and reinvest them into assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, things that generate more wealth. They understand that money left sitting in a bank account is money that is losing value due to inflation. Every dollar must be put to work, whether it is through investments, building a business, or acquiring skills that will lead to greater earning potential. Wealth is not just about making money, it is also about protecting it. The world is designed to take money from those who do not understand it. Governments take it through taxes, banks take it through interest rates and fees, businesses take it through advertising and consumer manipulation. People who do not know how to protect their wealth find themselves constantly working harder just to stay in the same place. The wealthy use strategies to legally minimize taxes, diversify their income streams, and ensure that no single economic downturn can wipe them out. They are not just playing the game, they are mastering it. The most powerful aspect of wealth is the freedom it provides. Money is not just about luxury or material possessions. It is about choices. A person with financial freedom does not have to answer to a boss, does not have to wake up to an alarm clock, does not have to spend years stuck in a job they hate just to survive. They have the ability to travel, to invest in their passions, to help their family and community, and to live life without the constant stress of financial insecurity. The biggest trap of the modern world is financial dependence. When people rely on a single paycheck, they are vulnerable. They cannot speak freely because they fear losing their job. They cannot take risks because they are tied to their bills. They cannot truly live because they are trapped in a cycle of work and consumption. The truth is that anyone can build wealth, but very few do because they are never taught how. Schools do not teach financial literacy. Society encourages people to be consumers, not investors. The system is built in a way that keeps people working for money instead of using money to build wealth. But those who take control of their financial education, who study money, investments, and wealth-building strategies, put themselves in a position of power. They no longer have to follow the rules set by others. They create their own path. Ultimately, wealth is about control. Those who understand money are not at the mercy of circumstances. They do not fear economic downturns, job losses, or unexpected expenses. They have built a foundation that allows them to thrive no matter what happens. The reality of wealth is simple. It is not about luck, background, or talent. It is about knowledge, strategy, and discipline. Those who take the time to master will never be controlled by money. They will control money, and in doing so, they will control their own lives. Fear is the greatest liar, the most powerful illusion that holds people back from their true potential. It whispers doubts, amplifies insecurities, and convinces individuals that they are not ready, not capable, not worthy. But the truth is, fear is nothing more than a mental construct, a product of the mind designed to keep people in their comfort zones. It is not real in the way people think it is. It has no physical form, no true power except the power that is given to it. The most successful individuals in the world are not those who never feel fear, but those who act despite it. Fear is hardwired into the human brain as a survival mechanism. In the past, it served a crucial purpose, protecting people from immediate physical dangers like wild animals or hostile environments. But in modern life, fear has taken on a different role. Instead of keeping people alive, it keeps them weak. It stops them from taking risks, from chasing their dreams, from becoming more than they are today. It manifests in the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. It convinces people to settle for less than they deserve because stepping into the unknown feels too risky. But the unknown is where growth happens. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it disguises itself as logic. It tricks people into believing that they are making rational decisions when, in reality, they are just avoiding discomfort. Fear makes people procrastinate. It makes them overthink. It makes them hesitate when they should act. They tell themselves that they need more time, more resources, more preparation. But in truth, they are simply letting fear control them. The reality is, no one is ever fully ready for success. No one has all the answers before they begin. The only way to truly be ready is to take action and learn along the way. The only way to conquer fear is through action. Fear grows in the absence of movement. The longer someone waits, the stronger fear becomes. But the moment they step forward, the illusion starts to break. What once seemed impossible begins to feel achievable. What once felt terrifying starts to feel normal. Every time a person takes action despite fear, they weaken its hold over them. They prove to themselves that fear is nothing more than a test, a challenge to see who will push forward and who will retreat. Those who retreat remain trapped in the same place. Those who push forward evolve. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of it. No one is born fearless. Even the greatest leaders, athletes, and entrepreneurs have moments of doubt. The difference is that they refuse to let fear dictate their choices. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then move forward anyway. This is the mindset that separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. It is not about never being afraid. It is about refusing to be controlled by fear. One of the biggest fears that holds people back is the fear of failure. Society has conditioned people to believe that failure is something to be ashamed of, something to avoid at all costs. But this is one of the greatest lies ever told. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey. Every successful person has failed more times than they can count. They have faced rejection, setbacks, losses. But instead of letting those failures define them, they use them as stepping stones. They learned, adjusted, and kept going. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just a lesson. Another common fear is the fear of judgment. People are terrified of what others will think if they take risks, if they try something new, if they chase their dreams. But the harsh reality is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to care about what anyone else is doing. And even if they do judge, what does it matter? Living in fear of the opinions of others is the fastest way to a mediocre life. Those who achieve greatness are often criticized, doubted, and ridiculed until they succeed. Then suddenly, those same critics admire them. The only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. But that is not a life worth living. Fear only has power over those who submit to it. The moment a person stops letting fear control their decisions, they become unstoppable. They realize that fear was never real to begin with. It was only a barrier in the mind, one that could be broken at any moment. Every successful person has had to fight this battle. The difference is, they chose to fight instead of surrender. They chose to move forward instead of staying in place. They chose to take risks instead of playing it safe. There is no perfect moment to start. There is no guarantee of success. But waiting until fear disappears is a losing strategy because fear never truly goes away. The only way to defeat it is through action. Confidence does not come first, action comes first. And through action, confidence is built. The more a person does, the more they prove to themselves that fear was just an illusion all along. Fear is a prison, but the door is always unlocked. It is up to each individual whether they choose to stay inside or walk out into the world of possibility. The only thing standing between where someone is now and where they want to be is their willingness to push through fear. The moment they do, they will realize that success was always within reach. It was just waiting for them to claim it.